We're covering the latest in construction and refurbs around the Disneyland Resort, from the Golden Horseshoe to the Avengers e-ticket. And it seems like there are construction walls everywhere. Am I right? Like these out here in the main entrance, we've been following these construction walls for months and months. They just move. They go from one side to the middle, to the right. Today, we are still in the middle. We're in like week 3, I think, of this phase of the construction update for the main gates out there in front of Disneyland. So nothing really to report other than a very busy morning here. This was just after rope drop. I'm here often on this day, on Fridays at 8:15 a.m. or something like that often. And I haven't seen a crowd like this at that time on that day in quite a while. Busy day here. And it's supposed to rain today. And it did rain on this day. People were ready to go. Across the way, same situation over at DCA. We're in the left middle of the DCA entrances. So again, we're probably 3 weeks away from those getting done, is my guess. And then one last look at these crowds before I make my way into the park. Hey, look, there's the monorail. Love to see her back. Let's get into the park, where we have more walls. Not just, these are brand new walls. Not walls we've seen before. This is in the same area as our little wall mascot that's been there, that's obviously been hiding a light structure or a light pole that was removed and exposed perhaps. Well, they've grown. It's expanded half the size, or I should say all the size, to the left of Flora Mickey, or what is Flora Minnie now. And I have to assume this is a clue that they're going to finally do something. Those walls have been up there 6 months, maybe. I feel like it's been 6 months. Am I right? But that's a positive sign. That's a positive sign those walls are there. Look at these. We've got new walls. More walls have grown, and it's a small one. Man, what do they say? Welcome to Disneyland. We got more walls up at Small World, separate from the walls that are up covering the front of the attraction. These are walls to its left. You can actually still get to the little gift shop right there, which is baffling. I don't know how they're selling anything in that gift shop, but there's still cast members in there. But who's going in there? I have no idea. But they've got walls up to the left of this, which suggests to me that they're doing something with the pavement. And now as we get the walls stop, and now we've got scrim up covering that. And as we come around the other side, this reminds me of the time when they closed Toontown and they were doing the update to Toontown. They also took that opportunity to redo all these bricks. These bricks that you're looking at here are pretty new. These have been here for maybe for as long as Toontown has been open, a couple years now, maybe a year and a half, right? So I'm wondering if maybe they're trying to extend that perhaps. You can see there's a change right there. That's where the bricks change from the old to the new. And then you've got these tiles, which are a very grainy, porous type tile for some reason that I don't know why they have to. Those are brand new too, now that I think about it. Those tiles are new. And then we're back to bricks. So I'm not sure what we're going to see on the other side of those construction walls. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. It's a bit of a mystery. I'm very curious about that situation. While we're talking about Small World, we could take a peek over the wall. We're on the Disneyland Railroad. And unfortunately, because it was a rainy day, there's no active work happening, just the scaffolding up, and we can't really see what they're doing. But last time we were there, we saw them working on the little parade of characters from around the world. Nothing to observe there on the entrance sign. We saw a cherry picker there last week. The walls continue. More new walls up at Galactic Grill at the Tomorrowland Terrace, where they do not perform ever anymore, except for during after dark events. But they're doing something here. I don't know what they could. I'm assuming this is for the 70th, right? I mean, we have to assume that. But walls are up at Tomorrowland Terrace to do what? I'm not sure. The Galactic Grill obviously is still open. But the good news here is the hope, at least, that what they are doing could possibly lead to some kind of upgrade to the Tomorrowland. I mean, it doesn't look beat down or worn out or anything like that, although I suppose they're trying to update everything. But the fact that they are trying to update the Tomorrowland Terrace could suggest that they might have something maybe a little progressive in mind for the 70th. All of this stuff, all these walls are up for the 70th. This is absolutely a Project Stardust type situation. So all these walls that you're seeing, all this construction that's going on right now that we're featuring, all has to do with the 70th and getting ready for May. Maybe they have something. I know it's probably too much to hope. Maybe they have something in mind for the Tomorrowland Terrace. And then our last construction walls to observe here are those that came up last week at the Golden Horseshoe. This week we have a new development. The sign has been removed out front. The actual Golden Horseshoe sign is gone, which is kind of, I don't like the looks of that. For the same reason I don't like the looks of them taking down the Jolly Holiday thing or Snow White's Grotto, which, by the way, updates on both of those coming up. Good news on those coming up. Stay tuned. One thing I will say, I looked through some of the cracks in the walls, and it looks mostly like staging on the other side of the walls, except from this side, I heard the sound of a wood cutting tool and the actual sounds of wood cutting. And I was able to peek through with the naked eye, but not with the camera. And it looks like they are possibly working on the floorboards, the walking surface, the wooden walking surface up there on the steps. So they could be replacing those wood elements. So a lot of things are happening. It doesn't look good as you walk around the park. You're like, oh gosh, construction walls everywhere. But the positive thing is that it's all toward a new, updated, beautified Disneyland, getting ready for the 70th. All things that will just make the park sparkle a little bit more when May gets here. These are good things that they're doing. Meanwhile, you've got a lot of things that... What else is there to talk about even at Disneyland? Tiana's Bayou Adventure is operating as smoothly and as efficiently as it ever has. Even Tiana is working, mostly, but Tiana's even working the Florida Bayou Tiana. Meanwhile, Rise of the Resistance, they've updated this as well, operating as smoothly, as efficiently as it ever has. The turrets are working on the AT-AT. The cannons are working in the final, or near the final battle scene. Space Mountain, they've done updates to that we didn't even ask for. They installed those new lights. Those are great. I mean, they look fun. They look spacey. And they did do something that we did ask for. We were requiring, and they replaced the blue lights. I've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate that again. We're nearing one of the most prime, pristine ages of Disneyland, and people don't even see it. You can't even tell. Like, we don't realize how up to date this park is right now. It's as good as it's been in years, literal years. The Disneyland Railroad is back online today. Rode that today. That was awesome. The monorail is back online today. These were the only two. Look at that. These were the only two things that were left before. Even Big Thunder and the Little Lake, they managed to clean that up. And this is no longer the point of ridicule from fans. Big Thunder, even that's okay. Literally me walking around Disneyland on a rainy Friday morning trying to find any kind of construction projects that are going on right now. I guess that leaves me with just looking for small little stories to follow and to track and to note. This is Pirates of the Caribbean. I've been aware of this for a couple of weeks, but I've never mentioned it in a construction report. But we seem to be down a pirate or two. There's just two pirates here at the end scene with the dog. The dog is still there, but where's the other pirates? Pirate, I should say. There should be three pirates there. The guy on the far left, as we face it, is not there at the moment. I'm also wondering what happened to the street sign here. This has been missing for a long time, but I haven't gotten around to talking about it. But that green box, there should be. This is where Orleans Street and Royal Street. This is the intersection of those two streets. There's a street sign. It should be there. It should say Orleans Street and Royal Street. Hasn't been there for months. It's not a big deal, but it's something that I notice every time I walk by. Some repairs that need to be made that are just kind of, languishing. You got Donald Duck's Pond, no water there. I'm beginning to think, I shouldn't say beginning. I've been thinking we ain't ever going to see water, or we're not ever going to see this be a proper duck pond splash zone ever. I don't think it's going to happen. Speaking of stories that we haven't been reporting but have been fixed, and the time it has taken me to get to reporting it, they fixed it. The dioramas at the Emporium on Main Street are operating again. And now for some, this is not a big deal, and for others it is a big deal because these are really cute and charming and adorable. And I walked by, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that, I think it was a week ago maybe, and they were working. I didn't report on it then, but yeah, here they are again. You got like Abu and and Genie, it's great. Olaf and Elsa, and of course Buzz and Jessie, Rex and the gang. It's really nice to see these dioramas working again. I didn't have the time to wait and see if the arm drop down to grab the toys. I'm not sure if that's still working or not, but it's close enough. It's good enough. I love it. More good news. The Jolly Holiday. Okay, so, well, I'm assuming this is good news, I hope. Last week we reported on the change in the sign. The Jolly Holiday sign, the popcorn lights were missing. They're gone. And it really had me struck. I was just, I don't know how to take this, but this clip was posted to our Twitter account by CGA Weekly, and he made a really cool observation. If you turn down the exposure, if you turn down the ISO, you can see what looks to be popcorn lights glowing behind that sign. So it's possible that they put this up because they're doing some kind of repair, perhaps, and they don't want to have that out there in view. I'm hoping that's the case, at least. But it does, I have to agree, that does look like the kind of shimmery that the popcorn lights give, as opposed to just a backlit LED type situation. No doubt I feel a lot better about things this week than I did last week. Last week, as usual, I was ready to panic. I panic a lot. I was ready to panic last week, but I feel pretty good that it's temporary and that it's even possible that those lights are actually still there, just covered up by that temporary sign. Okay, guys, if you'll allow me, let me take a quick break to remind you guys of our preferred travel partners, GetAwayToday. They are fans of our show, and we are fans of them. If you are planning a trip to the Disneyland Resort or to any Disney theme park or even to Universal or Alani or anything of that nature, make your travel arrangements through GetAwayToday. We love them. They are fantastic. They are the best in the business at making sure that you get everything you need out of a vacation at a Disneyland Resort or at the Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World or anywhere you like. Knowledgeable, friendly, kind, and you'll probably get a good deal there. Use the link in our description for GetAwayToday. Let them know we sent you, and I hope you guys enjoy your trip. As for the actual refurb, there were crew present on this day, and you could see and hear still, active work being done. They're repainting. Obviously, there's still some areas there you can see where they have buffed things out and are getting ready to add like a primer or something to that effect. So that the paint job continues, as well as the work on the roof and the shingles. We could take a peek in the back there by Refreshment Corner, and it looks like, I think those have been pressure washed. Those look like they've been cleaned. Those shingles up there on the roof, those look like they've been cleaned. That is not the same color they used to be. We do otherwise have a few other ongoing projects. Casey Jr., I've got some recent updates. A commenter said that they spoke to a cast member, and they said that we are definitely down a train, and that it was broken down completely. That they've taken it apart. It's getting a complete overhaul, complete refurb. So it could be months before we see that second Casey Jr. train on the track, which breaks my heart a little bit because I will ride this anytime I see two trains on the track. We're still waiting for the Tiki Room and the Jungle Cruise to get their refurbs. I'm almost positive, 100% positive, 98% positive that both of these attractions will be going down for refurb in the near future. But again, the good news is that it's to update things, it's to upgrade things, namely the Tiki Room, and it's some beautifying the birds themselves inside the show, as well as some of the show elements out there in the pre-show. And then perhaps as we wind down our discussion at Disneyland, as we quickly made our way through, perhaps my favorite story is Snow White's Grotto. The canopy, the well canopy has returned. It was off for, I don't know, a good month or so. And they left the well just exposed without a top, but it's back, and it looks great. They've done more than just the canopy as well. But let's take a look at that first. You can see the wood is nice and clean, and it's been refinished. All the lettering, everything, it's returned. It's basically exactly like it was before. They didn't do or change anything as far as the color or any of the stenciling or the wordage that's there, or any of the little thematic elements. Everything is still there. The little bucket wheel is still there. There never was a bucket, but this, doesn't it look great? It looks nice and clean and fresh, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's the actual canopy, and you can even the gold up there has been, it looks like it's new. It looks brand new up there. So that's great. One thing I will note is that previously the well itself, the top part, not the stones, but the rim looks like that's gotten a paint job as well. The two columns and the rim around the well, that looks a little wider, a little cleaner, a little fresher than it did before. It kind of had I don't know if it was intended to be that way, but it was a darker shade of whatever color this is. But that could have just been wear. I will also, somebody asked me about the fish. I can tell you that those fish are still going up and down. You can see them going down into the water. Those fish still go up and down, but they don't rotate. It was not spinning while I was there. And I'm pretty sure that's been the case for a while. So this could be part of an update that they're planning to do or finish later, that they're not done. But the fact that it's going up and down suggests that there is some sort of mobility here and that they just have to work out whatever it is that's causing the fish to stop rotating. Oh, and by the way, Wendy's does still love Peter, or vice versa, but it does look like somebody has tried to scratch out part of those letters. I don't recall the vertical part of the P for Peter. That I thought it was just a thinner, regular P looking thing, as opposed to somebody. It looks like somebody's tried to erase it almost. I don't know if that's a guest or cast or what, but it is still there. Peter loves Wendy. So that's Disneyland. Let's go to Downtown Disney for a story that's kind of boring me a little bit, I have to say. This whole ESPN Zone situation is kind of boring me. I don't know what they're doing here, and it's just this building is boring. The building is boring. Whatever it is it's doing here is boring, and I want to talk about something else. Like Earl's Sandwich, that's not boring. Last week we reported that they closed it, that they had gutted the interiors. We have to retract that because it's back. So apparently they were just updating the flooring, or so I've been told. But Earl's Sandwich is back. So I guess cancel everything I said last week about my assumptions with Earl's being closed, because it's not closed. So that's good. That good. It means we might have an earlier start with boardings. Let's talk about Earl's while we're on that subject. We've got the same vertical steel over here on the ground that we've been seeing for the past month or so. No updates there. But I do have this submission from Victoria and Chris, who got this video for us from the Disneyland Hotel, capturing some backstage development of the Earl's that is being built there. That is almost all the way into the parking lot. But if we pan back to the left, hopefully, there we go. Looks good. They are definitely in a foundation state. They are in a state of building foundations. They are in what I like to refer to as the Indiana Jones phase. Actually, they've already passed the Indiana Jones phase, where when you do an archaeological dig and everything's all sectioned off. Matter of fact, we saw rebar, I think it was last week. And I predicted concrete after that. That is concrete. That concrete has been poured. Where those green pylons are, I'm not sure what those. Oh, I think those are for. Oh God, I used to know this. But anyway, where the green pylons are, that's the concrete that we've been seeing. They're getting ready to, or they have poured some of that foundation. And I mean, that means they're getting ready to start building pretty soon. So Earl's is going to start getting built pretty soon. Built, proper built. That's exciting. Also exciting is the prospect of demo at Tortilla Joe's. This is one of my favorite things. And this is our state as it was on Friday. And you can see just over the construction wall that they have torn down the awning. That's it's the main entrance. We saw them ripping that down. Actually, a friend of the show, street team, got that for us as well. This was some demo happening in the early morning, and you got that digger there just ripping up invasively, ripping up the facade there, or the awning at the entrance. Get in there, a little rip and tear. I just love how not gentle this process is. We'll be standing by for more of that at Tortilla Joe's. Elsewhere around the site, we got a reasonable look because of the rain, the overcast skies. We were able to kind of get, peek the camera in there and zoom it in and get kind of a look at what it looks like inside the building. And you can see the gutted ceiling there, exposed pipes there. That has been really ripped up. Let's finally take this story into DCA. More yawner here. Nothing happening at Elias & Company. Paint and polish. Same thing. Carthay Circle, yawn. Not much going on there. Let's get to Grizzly River Run. Well, incredibly, it's open. I love seeing this little foggy effect happening here at Grizzly. Boats, rafts in the water at Grizzly River Run. This is beautiful. It's like 8 degrees out, right? It's so cold. But yeah, the rafts are in the water again. People are enjoying themselves getting wet on this already rainy day. It's delight. It is raining, it is windy, and it is cold as heck. And those boats, the rafts are full at Disney River Run at like 11:15 in the morning. And then right across the way, you can no longer use that access point between the Grand Californian and DCA. That entrance and or exit is closed to all guests, including hotel guests. But we got a good look. While it's raining, they hadn't yet set up the scrim. You'll see later where they're ready for the scrim, but everything is open, and you can see big chunks of granite, of rock there. That's the walking surface. So they've dug that up. And then as we pan to the left, there you see that's the scrim that they haven't, the post there in the wood. They're getting ready to drop that scrim down and hide all this from our view. But this week we got a nice little view. That's probably that's the thing that probably broke up the concrete, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, there you go, man. They're ripping and tearing. This is obviously, they're doing this because they're the same thing that they've been doing at the front entrance to the main gate at the downtown Disney monorail station. And now they're doing it here. This is an entrance. It's an entrance to the park, so it needs the new scanners as well. So everywhere where there were scanners, they're going to be updating to the new setup. And this could actually have something to do with the Napa Rose expansion, where there's an expansion happening there, and I think they're adding another bar somewhere else. We may have to follow that up on that later. This could have something to do with that as well, but I don't know for sure. And then back to Grizzly River. Guys, no kidding. Every single raft is full of guests. And this is, it's been closed, so maybe that's why people are eager to get in there. But it was so cold. It's raining, and it's freezing out. And every raft is full of guests. Hardy bunch, Disneyland fans are. Hardy bunch. Look at this. It's raining, and it's 45 minutes for Little Mermaid. I mean, that's where I would go too, I guess. If I'm at DCA on a rainy day, I guess I'm going to ride Little Mermaid 3 or 4 times, perhaps. But 45 minutes. And so very, very busy day in spite of the rain. Very busy day here at the park. Mission Breakout. No crowds here, though. We are in the middle of the refurb, hopefully to fix the lifts, the gantry lifts, but it's been closed since the 10th, and it'll stay this way until the 20th, I believe. And then finally, we were going to ride the Pixar Pal around to get some views of backstage Avengers Campus for the e-ticket, which is going to be built for the next half a decade. But it was closed. You can see nothing happening there. No spinning going on at all. No rotating. No no gondolas moving. But the good news is that we at least have some photos from Luke and Enzo on Twitter. They were on the other day, and so we've got some recent-ish views, and it's actually certainly more recent than the ones that we have, where you can see a lot of blacktop in this first image. A lot of blacktop has been torn up. You can see those cylindrical concrete pillars there. It looks like that's something that could have been put in later, but as they point out in their Twitter feed, those were already there. They're a long way from building, quote unquote, building anything. We're going to be in demo mode, pure demo mode for a good 6 months or so, I would think, maybe 4 to 6 months. I call it dirt mode. It takes a long time for them to get a site ready to start building up. It takes a long time for that to happen. It's the most boring phase, but that's where we're at right now. Right now we're in demo, and then we go to dirt. But that's so they've moved the fence out. They moved the fence out, and they've started tearing up more of the concrete there, more of the blacktop. And then in this next image is a little bit over the salmon-colored building behind Luigi's, and you can see so there's that, and then the next image is the second pile of dirt. And here we can see I had been taken to calling these Dirt Mountain and Dirt Mountain Jr., Dirt Mountain on the right, Dirt Mountain Jr. on the left. And somebody, a commenter who really truly understood the assignment, I've been, putting out there like, we got to find a name for these things. I like to name these mountains. It's perfect. Mount Downey on the right and Mount Downey Jr. on the left. Perfect. By the way, since I couldn't go up on the fun wheel, I took a peek with my eyeballs through that fence. I didn't put the camera through there, but I did try to peek through the slit, the gaps. Couldn't find much. Not much to see. Actually, I could see less than I thought I would. I could see there are multiple Mount Downeys. There's Mount Downey Jr., Mount Downey the second, Mount Downey the third. I think there might be like four mountains back there, but that's all I saw. Just a bunch of mountains and one big giant concrete wall, which I think is always there. So not a lot to observe at this point, at least. on the other side of that wall. And with that, we'll wrap with the current state of refurbs going on around the park, which attractions are closed or going to be reopening. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln closed for a year now, almost a year now. No scheduled date to reopen, although again, as I say every week, probably either May or July, one of those two. Pixie Hollow, the meet and greet, still no date known. We have no idea what's going on back there. It's been closed since September. It was closed in September and was supposed to reopen in October. It is now March. So add that to the list. I got very positive throughout most of this video, but that's one thing I'm like, what are you guys doing at Pixie Hollow? What is wrong at Pixie Hollow? Jolly Holiday Bakery, that's going to come back in about 8 days. Well, actually, less than that by the time you see this. Reopening on March 22nd. It's a small world. We have a date. April 25th is its scheduled reopening date. It's going to be closed until April 24th, reopening on April 25th. Indiana Jones Adventure is closing on, I think that refurb got extended. Or is that right? No, that's what we had before. Indiana Jones Adventure closing on March 17th, reopening on April 26th. Guardians of the Galaxy closed now, reopening on March 21st. And then Redwood Creek Challenge Trail closing on March 24th, reopening on April 18th. My assumption is this is related to the work being done at the Grand Californian. That's our show, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to watch our most recent State of DCA report. Excellent report we did there. We'll talk about the Avengers Campus stuff that's happening, the Avengers Infinity Defense, and Stark Flight Lab. Thank you for watching. We love you guys. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And fresh mate.